Is that what we're going to be hearing more about on Thursday when the Executive has their special meeting on the credit crunch?
Well, we have decided now to meet weekly because it's absolutely imperative that we do address this issue that's out there in terms of the credit crunch and the economic issues. And the meeting on Thursday will focus very, very much on what can we do as departments within our scope to try to address these issues. We don't have, of course, the range of fiscal tools and flexibility that Westminster has, but within our limited range of options, what can we do? And I'm absolutely determined that the Executive should focus on that.
But you're now running into some problems potentially, because I think you wanted the Assembly to sit for longer into its Christmas break in order to consider your credit crunch package, but they're not entirely convinced. That's what we're hearing from the Business Committee today.
Well, I mean, I must say the Executive unanimously, all parties, the Ulster Unionists along with the DUP and SDLP and Sinn Féin, all agreed that given the nature of this problem and given the fact that the Executive hadn't been meeting, it was important that we try to respond as quickly as possible, and we should do that before Christmas rather than taking weeks of holidays in the Assembly and then doing this in the middle of January. If we can do something now, earlier, I don't think many people out there in the public will understand why there are some people out there. I understand the Ulster Unionists who say, oh, let's leave this to after Christmas, let's take our holidays, let's not get down to work. If the committees want to examine this, then obviously there must be an opportunity for them to do that, but they can meet more regularly in the period up to the 15th. I just think it's important that we want to take action. The public will not forgive us if the cry from some quarters is, oh, we want more time, and the public can just wait.
I mean, to be fair to them, they're not saying, look, we just want more holiday. They're saying we want to scrutinise whatever is brought forward by the Executive.
Well, I mean, yes, fair enough, and we can do that within the time period, I think. I mean, I think the key question is, as long as this doesn't lead into a demand, that we just put this all off to January, because I think the public rightly are looking for us to do something more quickly if we can.
Now, you mentioned Christmas. Something people can relate to, of course, is Christmas shopping. The value of the euro is now much stronger against sterling. There is a potential bonanza here, isn't there, for cross-border towns like Newry, like Londonderry, who would hopefully like to see an increase in those southern shoppers?
Yeah, I think we're already seeing a big influx of shoppers from the Irish Republic. I've noticed that some politicians in the Irish Republic are now saying it's unpatriotic to come up and shop in Northern Ireland, which is interesting from a perspective of a government and politicians usually talking about the merits of cross-border interaction. And
well, this is cross-border trade that you're perfectly happy with.
Well, I'm absolutely delighted. As I always say, it's always in the mutual interests. If it's in the mutual interests of people, and of course people are looking around for the best deal that they can for their weekly shop and for presents and all the rest of it, and I don't blame people for that at all. But we are seeing a big influx of shoppers from the south at the moment, and I think the reduction in VAT of another 2.5% will assist in that obviously as well. So I think there is, in the retail sector, a real opportunity, I think, and it will boost shops and retail in the run up to Christmas, no doubt, in this side of the
And of
border.
course that new road, which the Republic's government paid for, is going to help bring them up to Northern Ireland. What about the whole, should be asking Conor Murphy, but the improvements along the Newry bypass, maybe you could speed those up a bit in your capital.
Well, I'd be delighted to. If we can do anything that we can do to speed up that kind of infrastructure project would be excellent. Of course, anything that makes it easier for visitors and tourists from the south to come northwards, I'd be delighted with.
OK, Nigel Dodds, many thanks indeed.
Thank you.